Hey, welcome in.
Welcome to the Arrowhead Addict podcast.
We are here coming to you live.
Let me tell you, the dopamine, it's flowing.
I am damn excited. Damn excited.
We are so excited to be joining you guys tonight.
Oh! Well, how you doing, man? Patrick.
Will Sterling.
Yeah.
Super Bowl champion, two-time Pro Bowler, and Trent Green. Trent Green, how you doing?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
And he picked it up! He picked it up! He's gonna score!
And we'll see you next week. But until then, as always, go Chiefs. Welcome in. It's the Arrowhead Addict podcast. It is Thursday, June 12th. It's the OG Hour. Patrick Allen here with you. Joined this week by my pal, once again, Sterling Holmes, the king of Kansas City radio. How you doing, brother?
Good, man. Things are good over here. Just got back from a golf trip. Busy man. Got my dog deciding to lick my toes at the this moment. So things are great, apparently.
Things are great. Things not so great for your dog, maybe, but
they're clean.
But good for you. Where was the golf trip?
French Lick, Indiana, down there. Southern Indiana, home of Larry Bird.
Yeah,
some really great courses down there. Pete Dye, Donald Ross, Sultan's Run, played all those. Did a little Ryder Cup. Fairly proud of myself. A little humble brag here. My team won, and I went home with the MVP trophy this year, which felt pretty darn good. 3.5 points out of a possible 4. And I will also point out, granted, we didn't play the tips, but the Pete Dye course actually grades out and ranks tougher than Oakmont. So just throwing that out there for all the people complaining, all the pros complaining about Oakmont, the Pete Dye course at French Lick actually grades out tougher. Again, we didn't play from the tips, but still, hardest course I've played in my entire life by far.
How do you become a golf guy? Listen, I'm not a golf guy. And, it's a stressful thing. I haven't golfed since college. Had a set of clubs back then, went a few times. But it's a stressful environment for somebody who's not a golf guy. Now, I've gone to the driving range, and I actually hit a pretty decent ball. Not crazy far, but I can hit it straight. So I figure, all right, I'm out of the gates, right? If I want to get into golf, become a golf guy, gotta work on putting just like everybody else. But what advice do you have for me as somebody who's not a golf guy, who's stressed out about, if I go to the course, all the people who are, you're in the way, they're playing through, there's all these rules you don't know. It's an intimidating environment to walk into. How does somebody get into golf?
Be quick.
Just be fast.
Be fast.
But what if you're terrible?
Bad. No one cares if you're bad. Literally, no one cares because everyone else is worried about their own score, their own ball. If you're bad, no one cares. People only care if you're slow. That's what it comes down to. I'm not great. Hell, there's like 10 people in the world at any given time that are great at golf. Golf is hard as bleep, okay? Just be quick. That's what it comes down to. If you're good, play fast. If you're bad, play faster. That's what it is. That is all people care about.
Well, maybe what I need to do is just come out to Kansas City and go golfing with you. So then you can tell me what to do, all the etiquette, all the things that I might not know, and then I'll be at ease and relaxed. Like, I'm not going to go to the golf course by myself and become a golf guy. I need to go with a seasoned pro. Let's do it. All right, I'm coming out. I need it. I need a vacation, and maybe that's exactly what I'll do. I'll come to Kansas City, and you and I can just golf every day for a week straight. What do you think?
I love it.
Let's do it. You're watching the Arrowhead Addict podcast. We're here to talk Chiefs, and we got a great show today, which I'm calling the Hater's Guide to the Kansas City Chiefs. It's the off season. Not a lot's going on. OTAs wrapping up all that stuff, and then it's the long wait until training camp. We'll all enjoy our summer, eat some hot dogs on the 4th of July and all that stuff. So it's silly season and it's take season. Everybody needs to do, we work in the media. We know this, right? You got to do NFL content 365. It plays, nobody can get enough NFL. But I think we here on the Arrowhead Addict podcast like to think of ourselves as professionals. We're professional fans and we have takes. And we'll go hard in a certain direction, but we try to keep it reasonable, normal. We're trying not to say crazy, outlandish things just to say crazy, outlandish things or to get views. some of these people, man, are just completely off the reservation, and we got to talk about it. So we're going to take some of the haters to task on today's show. It's going to be enjoyable. It's going to be passionate. I'm fired up, as you might be able to tell, about what some of these people are saying, and we're going to go at it. So if you're watching on YouTube, hit the like button because this is going to be a good one, and we want to hear from you guys in the chat as well. If you're watching live, on what you think, why you think people hate the Chiefs so much. Why do they go to these like insane lengths to come to twist themselves into pretzels to try to tear the Chiefs down? It's going to be a great show. So hit the like button. If you're watching this later, hit the like button. If you're listening to this on audio, leave us a 5-star review over there on Apple Podcasts. Before we get going on this, so I got to let you know, you can make this the best season yet with nutritious 2-minute meals from Factor. Eating well has never been this easy. Just heat it up and enjoy, giving you more times to do what you want. You can get outside instead of prepping and cooking indoors. Factor meals arrive fresh, ready to eat, perfect for any active lifestyle. With 45 weekly menu options, you could pick gourmet meals that fit your goals. You could choose from Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, Keto, and more. It's like plug and play like that. And they power your day with satisfying breakfast, on-the-go lunches, premium dinners, guilt-free snacks. We're all busy. I'm busy. Sterling's busy. He's the hardest working man, Kansas City Sports Radio. He's going on golf trips. He's recently married, so he has a partner to pay attention to. I had a baby a year ago. Well, not me personally, but my wife did. And he's a handful. You take care of him. And I'll tell you what, man, we get him from daycare, right? And we pick him up, get him at 5 o'clock, get him home around 5:30. He goes to bed around 8. So we only have a little bit of time to spend with him. And it's a bummer to spend that time cooking. And we love to cook, and we do that. But we use Factor, and we're able to we've got the meals. They're ready. They're fresh. Heat the oven to 350 and go play with Rory, and then pop the food in. And then we all eat dinner together. And he's trying, he's eating solids now. So he's throwing food everywhere. And it's great. It buys us more time. So there's all kinds of reasons why you should be interested in Factor, because we're all pressed for time. And it's a great way to support the show as well by supporting Factor. So we've got a special code here for you. You can get started at factormeals.com/arrowhead50 off and use the code arrowhead50 off to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. That's arrowhead50 off at factormeals.com/arrowhead50 off. Get 50% off plus free shipping. Factor supports us.
I love Factor, man.
Support Factor. I know you're a big Factor guy. Do you ever get the gourmet options that they offer, like that steak? Kick it up.
I do chef's choice, baby. I do chef's choice. I say, chef, freak me up. Freak me up, chef. I'm gonna crush it.
Yeah. Well, listen, speaking of freaks, let's talk about these people who keep criticizing the Chiefs. And I want spicy Sterling in this episode of the Arrowhead Addict podcast. It's my favorite kind of Sterling. And so let's start with Chris Sims. Now, we're going to talk about some real knuckleheads in the show. And Chris Sims is not, to be fair to him, he is not in the realm. It's going to get progressively dumber. The people that we're going to talk about are going to get progressively dumber. And Chris Sims, we're starting with, because he just did a ranking of quarterbacks. And this stuff is, it's a little bit subjective, whatever. What's your criteria? How do you want to rank the QBs? And he has reasons for saying what he says, but I wholeheartedly disagree. So if you guys don't know, Chris Sims, it's offseason. He's been ranking the quarterbacks, tiering them off, giving them fun names, all that stuff. Mahomes is up at the top, in the top where he should be with what he's calling the core four, the best 4 quarterbacks in the league. But the rankings went as follows. Number 1, Lamar Jackson. Number 2, Josh Allen. Number 3, Joe Burrow. Number 4, Patrick Mahomes. Number 4, the guy who has been to the Super Bowl the last 3 years and has won 2 of them. He's number 4, Sterling. Just before I get into some of the specifics of the silly things that I think Sims has said here, what was your take when you heard about this ranking?
I think it's dumb. I think clearly he's just trying to get clicks. At this point, anyone other than Patrick being 1, or you know what? If you put him 2, I think you're dumb. But if you put Josh Allen there, I can have an understanding of what Josh has done the past 2 years, okay? Anyone other than Patrick or Josh at 1 or 2, I cannot take you seriously. No one has lived more off of one playoff win than Joe Burrow.
That's
what it
insane.
comes down to. It was 5 years ago now. 5 years ago, and people are still bringing this up. And that's what it comes down to. Joe Burrow is a damn good quarterback, really good quarterback, and it almost hurts because I don't want to take a shot at a very good player. I don't want to take a shot at a guy who is the face of an entire city. But end of the day, if you put Joe Burrow in the same category as Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes, I can't take you seriously. Again, if you want to say because he made a Super Bowl and Josh Allen hasn't, okay, but we're talking 5 years ago now. Josh Allen at least consistently makes the playoffs, right? Joe Burrow has missed the playoffs as many times as he's made it. Yep. What are we doing here?
Yeah.
Like, he's had T. Higgins. He's had Jamar Chase. If he's so good, one, he'd make the playoffs consistently. If he's so good, they wouldn't need to keep those guys. Who's Josh Allen throwing to? Man, that was one of the worst receiving cores in the league last year. I mean, that was on par with the MVS, Justin Watson, McCole Hardman-esque type of receivers that Mahomes had thrown to for a time or two, right? Like, when you have a great quarterback, an elevator, I think there's 3 elevating quarterbacks in the NFL. I think it's Patrick, I think it's Josh, I think it's Lamar Jackson. I think those 3 guys elevate. I think Joe Burrow is just on the outside looking in at that of like, he's the best quarterback who's not in that tier. I think Joe Burrow is in that next tier down. I get it. You're going to put Patrick 4 because you're Chiefs fans. Let's be real now. We're not known for keeping calm. We're known to text back, call back, tweet back. You'll get reactions. And what are the point of these clips and articles and things posted on social media? To get clicks. So we're, to an extent, feeding into what Sims wants us to do. I get that first and foremost. I understand that. But when you do something like this, in my opinion, you hurt your credibility. And are those clicks and tweets and responses worth your credibility? Apparently for Sims, it is.
And his whole deal is credibility, right? Some of these other people on like me, I've got no credibility. I'm the Arrowhead Addict podcast host, right? So, it's not like people are coming to me for national NFL takes. That's fine. People come to me for biased Chiefs takes. That's my job. That's what I'm here for. I work for Fansided. But here are the lists of quarterbacks that before Patrick Mahomes lost to Jalen Hurts and the Eagles in the Super Bowl this last year. Here are the list of quarterbacks that Mahomes beat consecutively in playoff games. Okay? Trevor Lawrence, Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts. Super Bowl. They win the Super Bowl. Tua Tagovailoa, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Brock Purdy won the Super Bowl. CJ Stroud, Josh Allen lost to Jalen Hurts in the Super Bowl. All of those guys on the list above Patrick Mahomes are in that run. And one of them's on there a couple of times. Like, what are we doing here? And so I get insanely angry every time somebody says wins are not a quarterback stat. That's bullshit. That is bullshit. Does this Chiefs team that we just watched last year, do they make the Super Bowl if Alex Smith is their quarterback?
No, I don't think they make the playoffs with Joe Burrow at quarterback, by the way, who did make the playoffs last year. I don't know if they make it with Lamar. I think Josh Allen, they make the playoffs, but I don't think they go as far as they did. Again, Josh Allen last year was incredible. So I'm not, if you know me and you listen to me, one, I try to be as unbiased as possible. I really do. And two, I just think Josh Allen is phenomenal. You'll very rarely, if ever, hear me disparage Josh Allen. Quite frankly, the Bills in general. If you know me, I have immense respect for Josh.
Yeah, he's incredible. He seems like a great dude. He's an unbelievable player. He's a thorn in our side as Chiefs fans. We've gotten the better of him. Mahomes has gotten the better of him when it matters the most. And that's one of the reasons why Patrick Mahomes is great. Yes, wins are a quarterback stat. with that, the difference between winning and losing in the NFL, if you have an absolutely wretched team, like, okay, you're going to have a hard time winning. But any team that's halfway decent, that's in contention, we see time and time again. And we see this with all great players. We've seen LeBron James drag terrible Cavs teams into the NBA finals. Teams that, and then people give him shit about his finals record because he overachieves and pulls teams to where they shouldn't be. Joe Montana was not like a big stat guy, right? But he was just always great. What they used to say about Joe Montana was he's not always great. He's great when he needs to be. And this is Patrick Mahomes to me. This team last year had major problems. Their guard was playing tackle. They had an old man at running back. Everybody was hurt. Their best receiver was a rookie who went at the end of the first round, who was still finding himself. And Patrick Mahomes, he's the difference. That people, so like some of the, later we're going to talk about another knucklehead who talks about how there's no way the Chiefs are going to, they went like 12-0 and one-score games last year. And he's like, they're never going to do that again. What's the difference between the Chiefs going 12-0 in one-score games and the Chiefs being, a 500 team or a 1 or 2 wins above 500 and barely making the playoffs or not making it? The difference is Patrick Mahomes. So to say that quarterbacks aren't the wins aren't a quarterback stat is just completely categorically false. That's ridiculous. If you're a great quarterback or a great player, you can elevate your team to levels that they shouldn't be able to get to. And I think you can make an argument the Bengals without Joe Burrow, and he's very good, they would be horrible without Joe Burrow. Now they got Chase, they've got some guys on offense, but that defense was terrible. The line hasn't been good. Like they shouldn't make the playoffs. They shouldn't have made the playoffs, right? Or been close to making the playoffs. They failed at the end there. Without him, you throw Alex Smith in there. I'm not trying to pick on Alex. You could put any number of serviceable to average, just slightly above average quarterbacks on that team. Jamar Chase doesn't matter. I mean, we saw Alex Smith with Tyreek Hill, right? He lit up the stat sheet. Couldn't get by, the divisional round.
Yeah, he made the playoffs, though.
He didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, Joe Burrow focused on making the playoffs first before talking smack about something 5 years ago. What it comes down to, and what these rankings, and where my sometimes frustration, I guess, arises, is you never know what they're actually using. Well, if wins matter and Super Bowls matter, well, then it's Mahomes won. If you're saying the playoffs and winning doesn't matter, okay, then how, then Josh Allen doesn't matter, Lamar doesn't matter, Joe Burrow doesn't matter, but they always end up using that AFC. It was, Joe Burrow made a Super Bowl. Well, does it matter or not? Because if it matters, then Mahomes has clearly won. If it doesn't matter, then don't bring up the one time Joe Burrow made the Super Bowl. Then that doesn't mean he has an advantage over Lamar or Josh Allen, right? Because we're if you're saying wins that doesn't matter, well, you can't use that to help your one guy. That's, again, I guess, where my frustration arises. It is what it is. End of the day, if the GMs were doing a NFL draft and they had first pick, I'm telling you right now, no one's picking Lamar or Joe Burrow first overall. Not a single team. Not a single team is picking Lamar or Joe Burrow first overall. It'd be Patrick.
Lamar would pick Patrick Mahomes over himself. Come on.
It would be Patrick. It would be maybe, I bet it would be 25 Patrick, 5 Josh, and maybe 2 Jaden Daniels of people who think they're smarter than everyone else because he's younger. Right? I mean, that's probably what it would realistically break down to. I get a little tired of these arguments, and we get tired probably of talking, and people tired of listening to us talk about it. But what it comes down to is it doesn't matter. These rankings don't mean bleep. End of the day, we know who's going to be coming out of the AFC. We know who's winning the AFC West. The only person, as Rob says, is chasing ghosts. He's not chasing Lamar or Josh or Joe. He's not chasing anyone. He's chasing Tom Brady, and that's basically it. You can make a case for Joe Montana, but when you can only make a case for maybe the second greatest quarterback of all time, of who he's chasing, come on. He just turned just turned 30? Or is he still technically 29?
I think
he
might
just
still
turned
be
30.
29.
He's 29.
Coming up. Yeah.
Yeah, he'll be 30 the start of the year.
Yeah. And so listen. So here's what Sims said. He said, two quotes. This first one isn't exact, it's paraphrased, but he said, Mahomes doesn't have to make as many high-level, he's talking about this year in particular. He doesn't have to make as many high-level quarterback plays consistently because of his defense. Whereas if Joe Burrow doesn't play perfectly, the Bengals don't have a chance. Bro, did you look at the offensive personnel the Chiefs had this year at wide receiver?
Well, they had Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, right?
Right. Like, what are we talking about here? They also had Chase Brown, who was very good, whereas Pacheco broke his leg and was gone, or broke his ankle. And Kareem Hunt, Kareem Hunt was awesome last year for stepping in the way that he did. But the dude didn't even average 4 yards per carry. Like, he was great in short yardage. He has good vision, but he doesn't have a ton of juice left. Like, it's unbelievable to say something like that Patrick Mahomes doesn't. There's no high-level throws for him to make. Nobody's open. They can't get open. These guys at Juju Smith-Schuster running out there with a walker trying to get open. I mean, it's unbelievable. And so then he goes on to say this. This is my favorite. He says, you look at the season and you say, hey, there were some games that were, and this is verbatim, there were some games that weren't easy. It was ugly on the offensive side of the ball. He did miss some throws and miss some reads and made some dicey decisions and left the pocket when he shouldn't have been. But then they stayed in the game, and usually it was because he was clutch and made plays at the end of the game to do that. That's your answer, Chris. That's why, yes, did he play perfectly? No. Was some of those decisions on Patrick? Of course, every quarterback. But what you're watching is a dude who goes out there who's so brilliant, who's such a great quarterback, that he understands he's playing a 60-minute football game. And he also understands he don't have Tyreek Hill running around out there anymore. He doesn't have prime Travis Kelce anymore. He's got Kareem Hunt with an inhaler in the backfield. He's got Juju with his walker. He's trying to keep him in the game. He's trying to figure things out. And he makes some mistakes while he's doing that. But at the end of the game, the difference is Patrick Mahomes. So how can you have a quote about how, hey, he didn't play great the whole game, but they always won because of Patrick Mahomes? Yeah, he's number 4 for me. When you got Joe Burrow going out there, lighten up the stat sheet, light show, fireworks, lose the game.
Well,
and you rank him above Mahomes?
I have a couple of, again, these are outliers. I'm not going to say I watched every single snap of the Bengals games, but the ones I did watch, Joe was great until it mattered. There was a 3rd and 1 and a 4th and 1 in a particular game that really stood out. Maybe it was 2 4th downs. He had an open guy, maybe Mike Gesicki underneath, and he tried to throw it deep on 4th and 1 to Jermaine Burton, not Jamar. Jermaine Burton. And it was incomplete. And my thought was, just get the first down.
Right.
You had an open Mike Gesicki underneath, and you're on 4th and 1. You're trying to throw a 50-yard touchdown to Jermaine Burton. You know who's not doing that? Patrick Mahomes. He's going to pick it up. He'll either throw it underneath or pick it up with his legs. Josh Allen would pick it up with his legs. And that's what really stood out to me was, okay, Joe Burrow's great. But in that situational game on the line, play on the line, what are you going to do? Will you take the smart decision? Or are you going to try and just, I don't want to say stat pad, but go for the big play? Because that's what stood out to me was, okay, that's going to go down in the books as Mahomes would go 1 for 1 with the 2-yard completion. Josh Allen, he ran the ball for 4 yards. Joe Burrow 0 for 1, but people will say, well, it was a 30-yard pass down the field. That was 30 air yards. Look at that. Look at him trying to push the ball downfield. But look at the situation. Situation didn't call for that. Situation called for 2. That stood out to me. I know it's at 2 games last year for the Bengals, and people never brought it up because they would look at the box score and just say, well, look what Joe Burrow did. It can't be on him. Well, I know he's great. I know it's a lot of pressure on him, That's what the team did. The team paid him. The team paid Jamar. They're paying T. Higgins. They chose to give him the offensive route. The Chiefs said, you know what? We could pay Tyreek Hill. Yeah, no, let's focus and spend that money on the defense. Now, I know the Bengals are not the most well-run organization, as you can see by what's going on right now. Point still remains. That was a choice. The choice was that Chiefs understood Patrick Mahomes can elevate. The Bengals clearly don't trust Joe Burrow to elevate, or else they would have moved on from Jamar and T.
Yeah, and it's so frustrating because everyone's so obsessed with statistics, and I get it. Fantasy football, we've seen great Chiefs teams with mediocre quarterbacks, great Chiefs defenses with mediocre quarterbacks, unbelievable Priest, Holmes, Jamal Charles, great players. Dwayne Bowe was very good.
We ain't calling Trent Green mediocre though. We ain't doing that.
No, Trent Green is not mediocre, but they had no defense, and he wasn't able to get them over the hump. And it was a small window they had with Vermeil and that whole group. But we've seen these Chiefs teams; they don't go anywhere. We watched for years before I even became a Chiefs fan. I was born in 1983. Before I even became a Chiefs fan, these guys were dealing with the kingdom was dealing with like a decade of struggles. He's the difference. So to see what he's doing with what he's doing it, look at Joe Burrow. He has all these stats this year. Well, the defense was, they're just so bad. And it's like, yeah, but you know what? You know who also had a really bad defense? Patrick Mahomes in 2018, his first year as a starter, and he took him to the AFC Championship game. And if D Ford didn't jump off sides, the defense, he probably would have gone to the Super Bowl and maybe even won it. Like, this guy is special. To put him at four after he's just gone to 3 Super Bowls in a row, it's just unconscionable. It doesn't make any sense. And if your reason for that is, well, I was watching the film and he bailed out of the pocket early. Well, yeah, man, his guard was playing tackle. Or before that, Kingsley Suamataia was out there with his bullfighter, apron or whatever they call that thing, olaying guys. He wasn't even out of his stance and they were in the backfield. I mean, it's just, it's so nuts to me that we do this and that we can't just really appreciate the brilliance of Patrick Mahomes and understand that he is constantly molding and evolving his game for one purpose, and that is for the Kansas City Chiefs to win the football game they're playing and then to try to win the Super Bowl. He does not care about putting up gaudy stats. He probably doesn't care about winning MVPs anymore or all this stuff. As Rob put it in the chat, he's chasing ghosts. He's chasing Brady. And look, can he play better? Of course. He has stretches where he makes bad decisions. He has bad games. He has bad stretches of games. But he's still brilliant, right? He is still brilliant. The fact that you could say that he struggled at times and they still went 15-2, that was not because, well, yeah, he was bad, but the team lifted him up. The defense was not as good as it was 2 years ago. It was up and down. Secondary was not very good. The pass rush struggled at times. The offensive line couldn't block, and he had no receivers. So, like, Sims, your rankings, they're trash. They're terrible. They're insulting to Patrick Mahomes and his greatness and the brilliance that he's put out there. And I know it's boring to put out quarterback rankings every year and have Patrick Mahomes be number one. But until he is decidedly not the best quarterback in the NFL, that dude's number one. By the way, do you know who was number 10 in these rankings, Sterling?
Yeah, I think I saw Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts.
So winning doesn't matter.
Disrespect. Yeah, like, come on, man. Dude, Jalen Hurts has been to 2 Super Bowls. And he played unbelievably in the first Super Bowl. He played very good in this last Super Bowl. That's not a knock on him. He just didn't have to be brilliant in a Super Bowl. But people want to pick apart his game. Just maybe he have some holes in his game, 100%. But you know what? And then they try to take away from him because they say, well, the team is so good. And that's what Sim said. Well, the team is so good that, like, we've seen unbelievable Chiefs teams that couldn't win squat. You have to give people credit for succeeding in the circumstances with which they succeed. And if they're succeeding in the way that Patrick Mahomes has the last couple of years with the team that he's had on offense in particular, you have to take that into account when you're looking at things like stats, bailing the pocket, all of those other things. So I'll put a bow on it. Terrible rankings. Do better. And please don't slide into the category of the next two people that we're going to talk about, Mr. Sims, because this is where it starts to get, this is where you make all of us in sports media look like clowns. These next two we got coming up. I got in the chat here, Sterling. Rich says, a lot of Joe Burrow apologists and fanboys don't realize that he sometimes contributes to the problems. Yes, he's great, but situationally, he's not quite often. He's not great, especially in early in games. I think that's a great point. And we've seen that from other players, right? Like Brett Favre, he was great, but he also was so careless with the football sometimes that like maybe he could have won a little bit more if he adapted his game. Aaron Rodgers, I think, is very much, I know he's tailing off, but he's so stubborn and he wants to play a certain way and the offense has to be like this and the receivers and all that stuff. When do you ever see Mahomes? It took Patrick Mahomes like nearly getting murdered to finally walk towards the sideline about Kingsley Suamataia and be like, get him out of here. You know what I mean? Like, and the same thing with Kadarius Toney. He put up with so much crap. Some of these other guys aren't those kinds of leaders, and that leadership matters too in all this. Am I wrong?
No, I still remember when he hit MVS in the hands and MVS dropped it, and he said, "I could have thrown it a couple inches shorter," and he was serious. Yep. It wasn't like he was making a joke or a bit. It was like, what could have I done differently? And it could not have hit MVS more so in the hands. And again, I'm not trying to take a shot at Marquez because I appreciate all they did, and playoff Marquez was incredible. But I that one always stood out to me when I think a lot of players would rightfully be a little bit would feel a certain type of way. And instead he just goes, I could have made a better throw, which I don't know if a better throw on that deep, it was like a 50-yard bomb, 50 air yards was even possible. That one always stood out. And that's the kind of leader that Patrick is.
Yeah, he's unbelievable. All right, so then next up, I'm going to have to go after some of your radio brethren here, Sterling. This woman, Sarah Stockford, who, it may not surprise you, is on the radio in Buffalo. She works for 100.9 The Mitt. I don't know what that means. Do you know what The Mitt means? Is that like a radio thing? Are they talking about baseball?
Well, if they're Buffalo, I was going to say if it's like Michigan, where it's like
maybe hockey. Maybe hockey.
Could be The Mitt. Yeah, I don't know.
They call it a glove. I don't know. I don't know why it's called The Mitt. I didn't bother looking it up.
Yeah.
So she's on the show, and this is just the most. So I'm going to break this into two parts, and then I want to and I'm going to provide commentary in the middle, and then I want to hear what you have to say, Sterling. So the first thing she says is, Patrick Mahomes is the most overrated quarterback in the league. I'm completely out on him. I'm completely out on the Chiefs. Once they made a Hallmark movie, I was like, forget it. Okay, so I'm going to take that. Now, throw out the first sentence that he's the most overrated quarterback in the league. That's completely preposterous, and we'll talk about that in a minute. The rest of it, okay, I'm completely out on him. I'm out on the Chiefs. Once they made the Hallmark movie, I was like, forget it. Okay, like I can understand that, right? Like I'm a fan. There are guys I get sick. Man, I got so sick of the friggin' Warriors back in the day, watching my Cavs in the NBA, those guys and Steph Curry. You get sick of people. We all got sick of Brady if we weren't Patriots fans. We didn't want to see those guys anymore, and they kept winning. It was frustrating. So, like, I understand all of that stuff. But at no point did I ever say Brady was overrated. Like, the people that do that, the people that say that crazy shit about people like Patrick Mahomes or Tom Brady, they're delusional. Like, it's just like, it's okay. It's okay not to like them. It's okay to be frustrated that they keep winning. But you can't create, I mean, yes, you can, but it's so silly to create and childish to try to tear them down and be, well, yeah, it's because of Belichick, or it's this, or it's Andy Reid, or it's Tyreek Hill, or it's the defense. It's so dumb. But like her being like, I'm sick of the Chiefs, the Hallmark movie, the saturation point, the State Farm commercials, all that shit. Like, I get it. That's understandable. But boy, then
quickly, by the way, I'm pretty sure the Bills are doing the next version of the Hallmark movie.
Are they? Oh, that's great. That's hilarious.
I'm not kidding. I'm like 99% sure that
I think they are. I think you're right. I saw that.
I think it's the Bills. I think they're going through some certain teams and doing it. So yeah, the next one's going to be a Bills Christmas holiday touchdown or whatever it is. So congratulations, you just played yourself.
You did just play yourself. That's amazing. So then she goes on. She wasn't done. So after she says, the Hallmark movie, I was like, forget it. Then she says, I don't like him. I just want to say, I'm gonna move on. there is maybe not a more likable sports figure than Patrick Mahomes. He's incredibly likable. He doesn't really do or say anything objectionable, but I'll keep going. I don't like him. I think Josh Allen's a better quarterback. Okay, look, I vehemently disagree, but Josh Allen's excellent. Let's hear your argument. I would love to hear your sound football argument, Sarah Stockford, of why Josh Allen is a better quarterback than Patrick Mahomes. She says, he's 6'5". He can play in cold weather. And that's all you got to do. Call Chris Sims. The best quarterback in the league has to be 6'5", and it can play in cold weather. They're the GOAT.
Wait, time out. Is Patrick only 6'3" or is he 6'4"? Because that's going to be really funny.
Yeah.
Patrick is listed at
6'2".
Wow, I guess you're
6'2".
right. He can't play quarterback.
Can't do it.
Well, what about Paxton Lynch? Paxton Lynch, tall guy. He
remember Brock Osweiler was huge.
Man, he played in Denver, so he obviously can play in cold weather.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
that's all that matters.
She says, I'm just completely out on Patrick Mahomes. Now it gets weird and nonsensical. I think he's the influencer of the NFL. I feel like people just overhype him, and then that's why they win so many games. Okay, let's just ignore the fact that she used the word overhype. It's not a word. Overhype. I feel like he's the influencer of the NFL. I don't know what that means exactly.
Yeah,
but then
I get it.
But then she goes on to say, I feel like people just overhype him up, and that's why they win so many games. So the Chiefs aren't. I thought it was the refs were the reason that the Chiefs were winning, but it's not. It's because people overhype Patrick Mahomes. What does it mean, man?
How's that equate to wins?
What are they doing in the HR department at the Mitt? Is what I want to know.
Well, let's be real. Most radio stations don't have HR departments, so let's be real now.
Yeah, it's true. That's fair. That's fair. But we've all said, you and me, we've said dumb stuff. You're on the radio. You've probably had a take or something that maybe you were trying to get out, and it didn't come out the way you wanted it. But this one's really bad and makes zero sense. What does it mean? You think the Chiefs are winning because people overhype Patrick Mahomes? What does that mean?
It'd be the opposite. It'd be Joe Burrow. People overhype Joe Burrow, yet he doesn't win, right? That would be like the overhype talk.
He's the overhype guy.
It's the Chargers. That would be the overhype talk with Justin Herbert. No. And what's frustrating is, again, this is why I don't like this, because it makes you almost have to come at Josh Allen, who you don't want to come at because it doesn't really have anything to do with him. But cold weather games, Patrick came into your house and won. He came into your place of business.
It's amazing, right?
We have records of him playing great in cold games. He's not 6'5", though, apparently. That's the only thing that matters. So he can't be good. Shoot.
I mean, it is the take of takes. And look, we all have our little snipes that we like to take at the opposing fan bases. It's all in good fun. We have to, as Chiefs fans, we have to hang over the heads of Bills fans and Josh Allen fans. Yeah, great. Hey, have your regular season Super Bowl. When it matters, we're going to win in the end. But I don't think there are any Chiefs. Of course there are. There's knuckleheads in every fan base. But did you see a lot of Chiefs fans trying to pretend that Josh Allen isn't good? You know what I mean? They think their guy is better. Josh Allen's unbelievable. He's so good. Why do we have to sit around? Even when they beat us in the regular season, I don't come on this podcast and cry and moan about the fact that Josh Allen isn't really that good. He just does good defense. Go back and check the archives. When the Chiefs have lost to the Bills, I'm positive that almost all of my takes were always the Chiefs needed to play better. They made mistakes at crucial times. They need to learn from this, blah, 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 blah. Because you're going into that game as a Chiefs fan and the playoffs too, being we really lose these guys. They're good. They're always there. They play well. They're not afraid to come to Arrowhead. They play well at Arrowhead. They play well in Buffalo. Josh Allen's a load to handle. So I just don't get this. Like, can't you do good radio? You're on the radio, like you're on the actual radio, not this fake radio that I do here with the podcast. Do you feel like you need to be outrageous to like crazy outrage? Corey, you want to be colorful. You want to be Jim Rome-esque, right? But like, do you ever sit around and they're like, I need a real spicy take here that's kind of ridiculous so that people will tune in?
No, I mean, some do that. You want to be fun. You want to have an enjoyable conversation, but I get it. You have 4 hours a day to fill. That's 20 hours on air a week, not counting podcasts. So I understand that you're going to have some segments and things that you thought were good and might go sideways. You might have a couple of takes that you're like, oh, yeah, that didn't quite age the way I thought it was going to be. But end of the day, I don't think I have one like that. I can't think of one where I was just absolutely ripping on a Super Bowl champion, or at least any serious ones. Like, I know we always had the jokes of Tom Brady back in the day of, the whole, look at this check down. No one else can check down the way that he can. Like, it'd be a joke. Look at him willing his teammate for the first down. Yeah, but end of the day, we still acknowledge that he's the GOAT. It was all in good fun. I don't think these people are doing this in good fun. It's coming out of a place of jealousy, and jealousy is sure ugly.
It's dark. It's coming from a dark place, and it leads you to say things like, I feel like people just like overhype him, and that's why they win so many games. I think I'm going to maybe it's going too far, but I feel like maybe we should make a Sarah Stockford like meme, black and white with that quote, like overhype him. Oh, it's brutal. All right, Sarah Stockford, if you ever want to come on the show, we'll have you. We could debate good naturedly, but this was not your finest segment. And look, I'm sure maybe they'll pick this up over there at the Mitt, and they'll go through and they'll find some of my bad segments from this show. They certainly exist. All right, now we come to the end of the line, to the king of the shithead takes, to the master of manipulative radio, to the jester of jokingly bad takes. Should I try another one? I think I'm just going to go. I'm going to go. Jason McIntyre, who's not even on I don't even think he has his own show. He's just like, he's the lackey boy for Colin Cowherd over there on the Herd. And it's like, this guy, I'm not taking a personal shot at Jason. I don't know him as a person, but as a personality, which is what he is on the radio, he is a personality. He's like great value Skip Bayless. Like, he might even be like is there a great value version of great value? Like, is there like one tier below? It's like you got Kraft, and then you got great value, and then you have like, what's worse than great value?
Hey, not worse. Okay. Frugal.
Knockoff.
Frugal
what's the
man.
knockoff? What's the great value knockoff? That's what I feel like I'm watching whenever this guy comes across my timeline. It's absolutely brutal. He's making his bones off of leaning into the Chiefs' hate, much in the way that Nick Wright, like if you watch Nick Wright, and everybody loves him in Kansas City because he's a Casey guy and he's pro Mahomes and stuff. But I've been watching Nick for a number of years now. I used to, listen to him on 610 when I was running Arrowhead Addict, the website back in the day. And Nick is a very, very smart performer. He knows he picks horses to ride. And I'm not saying that they aren't his actual opinions, but what he does is he takes that and he really leans into it. So like he did the LeBron thing, right? And I'm going to be the LeBron guy. LeBron's the GOAT over Jordan. And he leaned into that and he leaned into it and he wrote it all the way to Fox Sports. And then he was do you remember he tries these things? He was the Trevor Lawrence guy. Started calling him the Prince. He's not Mahomes, he's the Prince. And that was his shtick for a while. He's good. He's really good. He creates compelling TV and radio, and he knows how to kind of lean into something and in such a way. There's an art to the take, right? Jason McIntyre is like the the guy doing caricatures at the, like if Nick is Picasso of takes, right? Jason McIntyre is like the guy doing the caricatures at like the second-rate carnival. So here's what he said. So he's been leaning into this anti-Chiefs every year. Chiefs are he's always prophesizing their death and soaking up all the rage like he's getting right now. So I'm sure he's very happy. And here's what he said. This is just off beyond the pale. The Chiefs are done as contenders. You can look this up. It's on YouTube. That is the name of the video. The Chiefs are done, capital D-O-N, as contenders. He says the Chiefs aren't going to the playoffs this year. He has said that. He is on the record. He said because Travis Kelce's old. He said something along the lines of, he was responding to Patrick saying that Travis Kelce doesn't look like a guy who's going on his last ride. The way he's showing up and prepared and how excited he is and all that stuff. And McIntyre is saying, hey, that was your last ride. It was last year. You got blown out in the Super Bowl and it's over. And he keeps citing the 10-year gap in Super Bowl wins for the Patriots. And like, this is hard. Now that's a fair point. It is very hard to win the Super Bowl as much as the Chiefs have and to go there. But what he's saying isn't, hey, the Chiefs might go a decade between winning Super Bowls, which is entirely possible. Winning Super Bowls is really hard. The Patriots were contenders every single year during that decade. They were in Super Bowls. They were in AFC Championship games. They won a lot of games. He's saying the Chiefs are done. That's what his video says. The Chiefs are done as contenders. How dumb is this take? Short of Mahomes getting injured, do you see any scenario where the Chiefs aren't in contention this year?
That is one of the most ridiculous, asinine takes I've heard in a while. I don't know how you look at a team that has gone to 3 straight Super Bowls, 1-2. The floor in the Patrick Mahomes era is the AFC Championship game. They've won 9 straight AFC West titles. And your take is they're going to miss the playoffs. Okay. Put money on it. Seriously, no, I would love to see Jason McIntyre put a lot of money on that. If you believe that, Jason, I'm challenging you. If you believe the Chiefs are going to miss the playoffs, put your money on it. You're confident, right? You believe that. That's not for show. No. You believe the Chiefs are missing the playoffs. Then do it. This is your take, not any of ours. This is your take. So do it. I would believe he's not going to do that. I'd be shocked if he does that because he's not in the business of losing money. He's in the business of trying to drum up some dolts to support him. That's what he's trying to do. He's trying to drum up 31 other fan bases to get behind him and say, yeah, look, see, everyone hates the Chiefs. Look how fun it is, guys. Yeah. Because we hate them, that means they must be close to falling off. Come on, man. Come on. You know it ain't true. You know he's not putting money on that. I know deep down he doesn't even believe that. Because quite frankly, I think this Chiefs team this year is better than the Chiefs team last year. Now, does that mean I think they're going to win 15 games? No, I don't think they win 15 games this year. I do think that the one-score game variance will even out a little bit, okay? Full transparency, that's not sustainable. Do I think that they're going to be a better team than last year, though? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I firmly believe that we look back, come the playoffs this upcoming year, which, again, the Chiefs will be in, we're going to say, wow, this team is drastically better than last year's team as they waltz their way yet again to their 4th straight Super Bowl appearance.
I love this, bro. We got to get this in front of Jason McIntyre. Put your money where your mouth is, Jason. We are both challenging you. Sterling Holmes, Patrick Allen, you think the Chiefs are done. You think the last ride already happened. You think the Chiefs aren't making the playoffs. Bet it. I'll bet the other side. I probably don't have as much money for you as you. I don't work for Fox. I'm not going to match your bet. I got a kid to take care of. But I'll put a meaningful amount of money an amount of money that's meaningful to me on the Chiefs making the playoffs. If you, I might do that anyway, but if you put money that they won't, and we'll just see how this plays out. And the only caveat is Mahomes has to be upright. If Mahomes isn't playing,
no, can't do that. You
why
can't
you
do
that. That's like the most important thing. He's saying,
I know
that they're done. That's like taking the field. If you say that they're not going to make the playoffs and that any pot like
That's not how betting works, though, Patrick. We know that. That's not how betting works.
Yeah, he'll win the bet, but like Patrick Mahomes being there is the whole point of this. It's why we're so confident in it. If he blows out his knee or something in the preseason, he doesn't play at all, I still might bet him to make the play. Oh, who's the backup now? Minshew?
Yeah, come on, Minshew mania, all in.
Yeah, 12 wins with Minshew. I just think it's look, McIntyre is a grifter. Like that's what it is, and you're right. Why would you want other than Nick Wright? See what there's two things that are happening, right? Like when you take a look at the Nick Wright shtick, Nick he's basically playing the villain with all this Chief stuff, right? Like all his co-hosts roll their eyes. He drops all the banners and stuff. The only people who like that are Chiefs fans, right? Like there's not like a Cowboys fan sitting there or like a Jaguars fan who are like, yeah, Nick Wright, the Chiefs, he's that Chiefs fan. Like they're like, God, I'm so sick of the Chiefs and I really hate that guy. And that's all McIntyre's trying to do here. But he's going the opposite way. He knows he's like Emperor Palpatine, like let the hate flow through you guy. He's like, yeah, I know all the NFL fans are sick of the Chiefs. If I say the Chiefs are done, Mahomes is overrated, any other line of preposterous crap that he's going to say from now until the end of another football season, everyone's going to agree with me. As long as it's negative about the Chiefs, say that it's fixed for the refs are fixing the game, people are going to agree with you because they hate the Chiefs. Say the Chiefs are done, people are going to agree with you because you hate the Chiefs. And then you get the Chiefs fans like us frothy about it. So that's what these guys are doing. But hey, man, we're here to talk about sports. We're here to debate sports. And I'll be damned if even if I know they're grifting, even if I know it's BS, I'm not going to sit here and use my platform to sit idly by and do another episode about whether or not, this backup punter is going to make the team or not. Like, I'm going to take you to task. So two can play at that game. Sarah Stockford, Jason McIntyre, Chris Sims with your nonsense. Colin Cowherd. People I didn't even include in this. Cowherd saying that the Chargers are going to win the division for the 5th consecutive offseason. It might be a decade now. They've been predicting that. But this is where we're at. It's June. People are sick of the Chiefs. You would think, Sterling, wouldn't you think that everybody would be feeling pretty good right now? Like if you're a Chiefs hater, because like they got humiliated in the Super Bowl. So like if it were me,
key word is in the Super Bowl, by the way.
Yeah, what's in the Super Bowl, but on the biggest stage. If you thought the Chiefs were frauds all year last year and all that stuff, you got exactly what you wanted. They got to the Super Bowl and they got their butts kicked. They didn't play well. The Eagles played unbelievably. And you got the schadenfreude. You get to enjoy it because they're going to be back with Patrick Mahomes. He's really special. And I think this season, as you said, Sterling, they're going to be better. I have a big scary question mark around the left side of the offensive line. But if that is solidified over last year and Rashee Rice is back, and Xavier Worthy's in year 2, and Travis Kelce knows he's playing his last season of football ever, and he's known that probably all season long as he prepares, and everybody on that team, I would be watching that Super Bowl every morning before I go to practice. Every morning. So I'd get up 2 hours early, I'd watch the whole thing. You don't think those guys want to wash that taste out of their mouth? Righteousness is not going to win you football games, right? But it will help you prepare. Just like I started eating better the week before I had my physical this week with the doctor. Oh, immaculate, right? Really went in on the leafy greens and stuff. Knew I was going to be facing the music. Chiefs are going to be doing the same. Are you with me? You think this team is going to be dangerous this year?
Yeah, again, I just think this team is better than last year. I think they're more talented than last year. I think that offensively, they're going to do what they thought they were going to do last year because they should be healthy. Again, injuries are always a concern. It's always an unknown. And for the most part, the Chiefs have been healthier than the majority of teams in this run. I mean, everyone gets injured. Every team has injuries, but the Chiefs have had some injury luck go their way, whether it's their training staff, what they do. Doesn't matter. It's the fact. I just think this Chiefs team is going to be extremely talented. I don't think 15-2, like I said, but I think you're looking at a much more talented team top to bottom than even last year's squad.
Yeah, 15-2. Those are almost always, anytime anybody goes 15-2, there's a couple fluky wins in there that just the ball bounces your way. It's so hard in the NFL to have that kind of record, no matter how good you are. So we'll probably see a Chiefs team that works some things out early in the season, especially with the blocking and all that stuff. But I think this could be one of those years, provided the major players stay healthy, that as we get to the back end of the season, you really start to see them gain momentum. And it could be a really fun, exciting season in Kansas City. We got to let you guys go. Sterling's got a hard out at 5, probably has another round of golf to get to. But thank you for joining us. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Thank you for Weston and Angry Drunken German and Rich. Peace Swizzle. Appreciate you guys. Shout out to all of our members here at the Arrowhead Addict podcast. We couldn't do this without you. We wouldn't want to do this without you. So thank you for supporting the show. If you're interested in becoming a member, we're taking signups right now for our members only fantasy football league. I'll be in it. Sterling will be in it. It's going to be a lot of fun. All kinds of other members events and exclusive things we do. We have the private Discord where we talk ball and everything else. So check out the link in the description. If you like the content that we produce here, if you want to fight against the knuckleheads, the haters of the Kansas City Chiefs, well, we're out here fighting for you and amplifying the good word of the Chiefs Kingdom. So it's a great way to support the show. And if you don't want to do it financially, we get it. This content is free. So you can help us out by heading on over to Apple Podcasts or Spotify and leaving us a review. If you leave us a written review on Apple Podcasts, you ask us a question, we'll answer it right here on the show. Folks, we got to get out of here. There will be no OG hour next week because it is Juneteenth. So it's a holiday for the company, and I'm going to take it off because it's summer, and I'm going to spend some time with my son. But our regular slate of shows will be there for you. And, of course, we'll have Freaky Friday tomorrow with Adam Best. So make sure that you tune into that. Thank you to Sterling Holmes for joining me, and thank you to producer Richard for making this whole thing work. We'll see you guys next week. But until then, as always, go Chiefs.